Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we have the live stream announcement for the upcoming update, which basically confirms, or it basically removes all suspicion or doubt that this was a mini update or the mid-month update, and it confirms that this is going to be a full update, because we saw previously in the Captain America and Winter Soldier update, they delayed the live stream to the mid-month because that's where there was just a lot more information. 5 new uniforms, 1 new character. So this time around, we already know we're getting 5 new uniforms. So at this point, we kind of assumed it was going to be a full update, but this is the confirmation we really needed. On top of the confirmation with the live stream with Cage and Kim, which we all have come to know and love, we now see the first look at these designs, these original designs. These are not from the comics. These original designs for both Rescue on the left and War Machine on the right. And I gotta say, they're both looking very fresh and very different. We've got more of like a space theme going on, very sleek and subtle for Rescue. Again, it still gives me kind of Spider-Man vibes. And then on the right for War Machine, just looks like an absolute Transformer tank robo killing machine. He just looks really cool, and I personally really like the red accents, the eyes, down the neck, on the sides, on the shoulders, for the repulsor blast in the hands. I think red and like a dull gold is a really cool combo. I personally can't wait to see how this looks in game. So yeah, this is the live stream. It's going to be Monday, you know, same time and place that we're used to seeing it. 5 p.m. Pacific, which is 8 p.m. Eastern, which seems to be, you know, the premier time for all Netmarble announcement kinds of things. So it's pretty exciting to see that we're getting a full update. In this case, one update, which seems kind of like Armor Wars is what we've sort of come to call it, because of Rescue, War Machine, and Hulkbuster, mixed with Summer Days. Obviously, those two things have nothing in common. Absolutely. I mean, Silk and Quicksilver have nothing in common with the 3 armored amigos, right? But still, I mean, that's fine. I'm down with that. The reason why I'm down with that, and it might seem inconsequential to some of you, but it means that whatever the mid-month whatever the mid update will be. I hate calling it the mid-month update because it's not always in the middle of the month, but basically whatever the update will be, the smaller update will be 2 weeks from the update, is going to be something brand new. It's going to be something completely different, rather than having the Armor Wars and then getting the Summer Days in 2 weeks. See what I'm saying? So in my personal opinion, it's basically just more content, baby. And you know me, I'm all about the content. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some more bits and pieces here. We're still waiting to see on a tier 3 sneak peek whether it's going to be War Machine, whether it's going to be Ultron, or whether it's going to be somebody completely different. But yeah, this is where it's going to be for us to get the first look at these characters and their new gameplay. And honestly, we should be seeing brand new characters, because I'm going to go through now and give you guys a first look, or sort of pre-update look, at Rescue and War Machine. Rather than dividing this into a separate video, I thought now would be a fine time to show you just how much the game, this is less of a how much the game has changed in 3 years. I want to finish my sentence there. This is less of a like how good is War Machine and how good is Rescue video before the update, and it's more of how bad these 2018 characters are going to look, or sorry, these 2019 characters, how bad they're going to look in comparison to everything else. So actually, I misspoke. It's not 3 years, it's 2 years, but still, it's gonna feel like 3 years, even though it's only been 2 years since in Endgame, because of how these characters, you know, match up, and how they fall so short of what we've come to expect. Even for a character, okay, let's just put it this way. Even for a character that the general fan base doesn't think was given enough justice. Okay, let's take Black Panther, and I'll specifically pick Black Panther because it's also a $30.99 uniform, and there are some players out there who love to doom call and love to just crap all over everything, and they're like, oh, all $30.99 equals terrible, $30.99 equals skip, because we have one $30.99 uniform here that's, you know, maybe not up to snuff, and then of course we have the original $30.99 uniforms that were given for free and were clearly supposed to be just for new players to get a leg up. But of course, people came to expect that even free uniforms would be meta breaking, because why not, right? It has to be free and it has to be meta breaking. And then when you pay crystals for it, it has to be meta breaking. But it can't be too meta breaking, because then we need more crystals because I have to buy every uniform and they all have to be good, but they can't be too good because then the game has too much power creep. You know how it goes. It's a typical argument. So anyways, you know, taking a look at Black Panther just really briefly, right? Let's look at one of his passives. 30% skill damage and 20% bonus damage, 15% damage reduction, 50% guaranteed crit rate, okay? Over here, we've got crit damage and increased crit damage above 200%. You've got this 30-30 frenzy buff with 5 seconds of immunity. You've got another 40-40 frenzy buff and accumulation, okay? So 2 frenzy buffs, accumulation, and then guaranteed crit rate and basically guaranteed crit damage buffs. That's just on 2 passives and 3 skills, okay? Let's take a look at good old War Machine. What do you got for us? A single line of text. How magical, Rhodey. A single line of text. Let's take a look at his resistant armor passive. Whoa! I mean, immune to stun is actually kind of helpful, but 5% physical defense. It'll be very interesting to see. I just want to speculate now. If War Machine keeps his immunity to stun, will that make him immune to the cages that Null uses in World Boss Legend if War Machine gets an Awakening or a tier 3? I suspect that it won't because I believe Black Dwarf also has immunity to stun and he still gets stunned by the cage. So I kind of answered the question for myself already, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, anywho, moving on from these massively powerful passives, let's take a look at his first 3 skills here. 5, 4, and 3. Any buffs? Any buffs? Knock knock, who's there? Are the buffs home? They certainly are not. He only has a guard hit on all 5 of his skills. So you've gotta be able to see here that even if War Machine does not become meta, and it's gonna be very hard for him to become meta because he's a blast type, which means he's competing with Moonstone, he's competing with Sharon Rogers, he's competing with Mephisto, he's competing with all these crazy blast types, right? Even if he's not meta, he is he's so mediocre. He literally only has guard hit on all 5 of his skills, guys. Black Panther has more buffs in his pinky finger than, honestly, you could argue that Black Panther has more buffs on one of his passives than War Machine has on his entire kit. And then for Rescue, it's a little bit better. They did do her a little bit better. She's got 45% increased energy attack on repulsor attack, which means that her base energy attack is quite high. You can see 35,000 is very high for a tier 2 character. And of course, I always make the comparison, but Cersei has a 30% buff on her passive because of you know, the Eternals, whatever, and she's at 39, right? So you can see her base stats are already way higher than, oh, actually, you know what? That 35 is because of the Iron Armada. Okay, hang on. 32. Okay, well, still, it's over 30,000, which is impressive because you can see here America Chavez is at 26, and that's with a mythic uniform. Okay, and then you can see War Machine is at 28, again with a mythic uniform. So being at 32 for her is very, very good. She's also got some other buffs. The summon character buffs are pretty lame. I hope they just get rid of these altogether because, yeah, summon characters just don't do enough damage anymore. It has to be like 2,000% increase attack and defense of summon characters. That has to be really crazy. Her other passive gives her a heal. This is very good. So even though this uniform and Rescue the character came out relatively close in time to each other, like I think 1 or 2 months apart, Rescue is a lot better, right? She doesn't have a lot of buffs. She doesn't have many self buffs, but she does have immunity here. She does have a frenzy buff there. And then she does have a guard hit with some defense and recovery rate buffs there. So a little bit better, despite the fact that they were released around the same time. But man, both of these characters need buffs so badly. And the crazy thing is, in the case of War Machine, is that he is a leadership as well. So he stands to gain even more on top of the fact that he has the leadership, like he has a 30% leadership and he has the leadership ability, which means you can double dip on White Fox. So it should be very interesting to see. But let me build a team here really quickly for these characters. and we're gonna jump in and see what they can do. I don't expect. I really don't. You know what? You wouldn't even use his leadership in this case. You would use Nick Fury's lead. I don't expect much here, but let's take a look and see what he can do in 2021 with Pierce. Now, this is a raw damage check. I haven't had a CTP or an obelisk on these characters in a long time, so this is just a raw damage check. But yeah, let's take a look here. He's got a long iframe on 5 with some damage. That's actually not bad, but really you're gonna see the problem is that he just cannot survive. You can hide in the iframe on 2 and then chain that into 5. It's actually not bad damage wise, but there's no survivability here. There's no survivability. Lots of iframes though. Not very proc friendly either, with a 9-second cooldown on his 5. Part of the reason why I took a proc off him in the first place. But yeah, it only took him 45 seconds to get down to this first phase. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be, to be honest with you. The number of hits that he has kind of makes up for the fact that he doesn't have anything else. But as you can see, despite having 60,000 base HP here, a couple of hits and he gets sneezed on a couple times and he just crumples. If any of those spears hit me, I'm toast. Right? So yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's kind of interesting to have a character that just has tons of iframes instead of relying on immunity and invincibility, but come on, he should have self-repairing armor or something. We know, right? We know this is not going to cut it for 2021. There's just no way, right? When you have Cersei, a tier 2 character who can basically, in a minute, she can beat Cull Obsidian in a minute. There's no way. He's going to take, he took him a minute and a half, over a minute and a half to get down to 7 bars. It's not bad. It's honestly not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But let's take a look here at Rescue. Rescue is probably going to be a little bit worse. We'll take a look and see how she does. Now, in Rescue's case, she also has the leadership ability. So she's also going to get all of the buffs from White Fox. So you've got the double buffs ready. You've got everything ready to go here. She's got one of the coolest skills ever, with 5 being this massive, Kamehameha kind of spirit bomb thing. Pretty straightforward rotation. 5 delayed cancel into 4, get that beam going. We're gonna pop the 3 to get the clones out. Now this is gonna be a stark contrast to War Machine because she has a heal. So even if she takes damage, which she probably won't with immunity and a guard hit and iframe, but even if she did take damage, unless she gets one-shotted, she's basically gonna survive, because not only does she have a 3% heal under 99% HP, but she also has increased recovery rate, so you're gonna heal even more, right? Because the 3% heal is then gonna get multiplied by how much recovery rate she has, which is why on PvP characters that heal, you wanna stack recovery rate, like Wolverine, Hulk, well, Luke Cage. Nobody uses Wolverine for PvP anymore, but we're not doing too bad. She's done about 4 bars in a minute. You can see neither of these characters have accumulation or all defense down, so you're really getting a true representation of what they'll be able to do offensively, which is not much. But at least in her case, this is a super smooth rotation, and it's super safe. I can just face tank him. I don't have to worry about his animations, right? I don't have to worry about what he does. So if Rescue does get so you can see the heal popping off there to basically top me up. If Rescue does get a Transcendence or tier 3, probably not tier 3, but if she gets, oh, so I got hit with a massive attack, but as you can see, she still tanks it. Okay, just held my breath there for a second. She'll be able to survive quite well against Null and Mephisto, especially Mephisto, who likes to do a lot of chip damage, because she'll be able to heal that right up. So I'll be very interested to keep an eye on her specifically because of that heal over time, like Cull Obsidian basically. So she got down to about half of his HP. He starts out with 18 bars. in 2 minutes. So it actually seems like if I played the full match, she does have enough raw damage to do stage 99 with like maybe, you know, 10-20 seconds left. So despite how I roasted them in terms of the lack of abilities, it seems like their damage has not fallen off that much. I mean, comparing to stage 99 world boss is not the fair comparison anymore because of how much Pierce I have, but the fact that they don't have obelisks does give you a little bit more hope. So that means with the right buffs, these characters could become pretty dang strong. So we'll have to wait and see. The rest of their builds are pretty pedestrian. And in Rescue's case, she doesn't even have a uniform. So her first uniform is going to be pretty big for her offensively. I don't know what War Machine's uniform offers him in terms of an effect. 15% physical attack when attack. Oh my. This gives me a headache. 60% chance when attacking. It's not even guaranteed. He gets a 7-second buff with a 10-second cooldown. So it's not even applied the whole fight. That's brutal, dude. These bonuses have to go in the bin. They're so bad. Well, anyways, I got high hopes for all members of the Armor Wars squad. I think these characters are really cool. I think they're kind of underrated, and hopefully they will pop off and we can go and smash some epic bosses with a bunch of armored toys that Tony Stark built. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Tony Stark fans should be loving this update, no? And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.